Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Soulful Speaking. I'm so excited about my guest today. It's my friend now, who I've gotten to know over the past few years, Berlyn Komar. She is a digital marketing strategist and founder of Planted Marketing. She has 10 years of experience working with small businesses to help them build foundations, launch, and grow. And when she's not behind her computer, you'll find her watching Survivor, reading, or hyperfixating on whatever hobby she's currently into this week. Welcome, Berlyn.
Hello. I wrote that intro so long ago, I was nervous about what was coming next.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
It's funny.
Berlyn is here to share her story and also nuggets of wisdom that will help soulful speakers, especially those who have businesses. And yet, whether you have a business or not, if you've got a mission, which I know you do, she has nuggets and pearls of wisdom to help us. Let's dive in first to your journey. Where did your speaking journey begin?
Yeah. So I would say my speaking journey is very new, like beginning of last year, so top of 2024. I was, when I started my business, I was able to go full-time in 2020, and it all just really came naturally to me. So I didn't really have to work for things in a way. Like I was doing really well through Upwork and other communities like that to get clients and work. So once that kind of started to slow down, I realized what owning a business is all about, and it's being uncomfy and putting yourself in new situations. And forcing yourself to grow. Speaking has not ever been my thing. It's just not it. And so in the start of last year, I told myself I would do, I really got more into networking, virtual networking. The in-person is just beginning now, but I had to learn how to speak about myself there and just overall, conversational, supporting other business owners and things like that. And then I told myself that I would teach one workshop a month, which was absolutely not my thing, but just started getting out there, teaching workshops. And I'm still over a year and a half of doing a workshop a month. And that progression has been amazing. And now that led me to this year doing more podcasts, and that has also been a journey itself. And now my next thing is in-person networking events and speaking like that, which is still very uncomfy. So still very raw in that one.
I love the way that you're stretching little bit by little bit by little bit. I'm curious, the part of you that says speaking has never really been my thing. What is it that makes you say that? What is it about speaking that's not your thing?
Mm-hmm. I would say I'm definitely just more of a listener by nature. I'm just absorbing, I'm listening. That's just what I prefer to do. And then just physically, my voice is small. I can't project it. So there are those two obstacles. And I think my voice is still small, but I definitely have a lot more confidence behind it. And so that has helped in all of these new situations. But it has never been my thing. And I also just have a lot of anxiety. I was woven in the womb with anxiety. So any situation, my physical sense of anxiety is feeling like I'm going to pass out. So I don't like to put myself in these situations where I feel like that. So just overcoming all of that.
Yeah. And I would imagine that part of the stretching bit by bit by bit, it's like if I try to go swim, I'm going to feel like I would pass out pretty quickly. And if I try to force it, it's going to be pretty dangerous. That the, very conscious stretch has actually stretched your ability to breathe without feeling like you're going to pass out through the stretch.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of it as stretching and kind of easing into this. So I like that.
Yeah. What called you to your business? And then what called you forward into doing more speaking with networking events and workshops and things like that?
Mm-hmm. So my background is in photography, and I started working with a lot of small businesses in that way. So doing like content creation for them, which was super easy back in those days, just taking pictures and that was it. And now it's such a whole thing. But doing that, working with small businesses, they need people to wear lots of hats, very few people. So they just asked me, could I do their Instagram? Could I do this and this? And my task just really started to grow. And that's when I learned that I really like marketing and like the whole of it. So I taught myself everything and dove into like every aspect of marketing. And with that, like photography is really fun, but I wasn't really feeling fulfilled. Like I wasn't giving back in some way. So I kind of made this pivot because I could work with brands who were giving back and like making a difference in their community, with like who they're serving or certain products or services. So that's kind of how I found that compromise is I could still be creative and do fun things and give back and like feel fulfilled by like with the brands that I work with. Um, what was the second part? How did I get more into speaking?
Yeah, I was going to say, no wonder we clicked because we both love working with people who
Yeah.
are doing purpose driven, soul driven things. The second one was what called you then to speak? How did you know it was time? Why?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely why we connected and why I've really loved your little networking group because everybody there has the same values. So it's been great. Um, but I felt called to do that because I don't really know. I just felt like it was the best next step for me to take. I really want to support people like solopreneurs and people who are doing things on their own. And so doing these workshops and like webinars and stuff, they're all for free. And so that was how I would like kind of continue to give back. And now I've sort of pivoted. So I have my community now, which is where I host all of these workshops now, and kind of like support people in that stage. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like find a way to help solopreneurs separately from like my agency because not everybody can afford like to pass the whole everything over.
Yeah, great. And what have been some of the most pivotal moments as you've stepped more out and spoken more?
Hmm. I would say definitely more confidence. So every time I do something, I'm like, oh, that was so fun. Like, I'm glad I did that. And like in the beginning, you kind of want to die and you're like, why am I doing this? I hope nobody comes. But then after, you're like, okay, that was great. And I'm sort of even noticing that as I go to these more or more two more in-person events is that every time I'm like, I'm not going to go. Okay, I'm just going to drive there and then I'll see how I feel. Okay, I'm here. I'm just going to commit. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, that was so great. Like, I loved that.
Yeah, it's so funny. I have a friend. We're both in our 50s. I've known her for 30 years. She's a fellow actor. And in one of the plays that we recently did together, just about every night, she would stop behind the door as the lights were going down and the music was going down. And she turned around one day and she was like, why do we do this to ourselves? And then, like, opens the door, goes out. And on the other side of it, there's like this rush of like, actually, we do know why we do this to ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of us who have sensitivity, who feel a lot of sensation, I feel like that's a natural part of our creative process to have a little bit of like, no, part of me doesn't want to do this. And then, whoo, that felt great when it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. It's definitely like a confidence booster, but just like, whoa, I did that. I can do this. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Like the Glennon Doyle, we can do hard things just popped
Mm-hmm.
into my head. We can do big things.
Yes.
You probably do not remember this. I did ask you if you would be willing to be coached for a little bit of the
Mhm.
episode. Are you still willing to be coached?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to grab a timer. When I've done kind of a hybrid episode like this, where you do a networking type introduction,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll coach you a little bit and you'll say it again, they get to hear
Mm-hmm.
that from you multiple times. So it's kind of a win win for everybody. So I'm going to do 60 seconds. Please introduce yourself whenever you're ready, and I'll go.
Okay, so like if I were in a networking call, doing my little
Yeah.
pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm Berlyn. I'm a digital marketing strategist and founder of Planted Marketing. Planted is a full-service agency for purpose-driven brands, and we specialize in content marketing and just building loyal communities around your brand. I also really love to help solopreneurs, so I started a marketing education and support hub for them. And so if you're ever feeling personally victimized by the advice that you hear on the internet and you're struggling to do your own marketing, the greenhouse is the place for you.
Great. Awesome. And that was about 35 seconds, if I'm doing the math right. And I love to tell people when they're shorter, the person who's in charge of timing everybody in those meetings actually loves you. So, how did that first one feel to you? What's something that you loved? And what, if anything, did you wish were different?
Like feedback I've gotten is that it's still the planted marketing part is unclear, and that's something that I'm always kind of trying to rework because marketing is not enough of an explanation for people. And so that's what I'm working on. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to share, I focus more because of how I'm built on the
Mm-hmm.
how you speak versus the what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 words that I love to give people because threes are so sticky for our brains.
Mm-hmm.
Intend, align, invite. So this can be like a mantra for you, for me, and for everyone listening. Intend is how do you want them to feel when you're done with your what you use of your 60 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally or energetically. And my people, our people, purpose driven people love to relate it to what's their whole journey. So if, how are they going to feel when they've been in your community for 2 years? How are they going to feel when you've worked with them and done their marketing for a year? And then how do you want them to feel on this very first step of that journey? What's coming to you for your intention?
I intend to make them feel supported.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that brings clarity to the options of like, what could we say? What could we not say? If that works for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Align is aligning the body, the breath, and the energy with that intention and with our most expressive selves. A lot of us, particularly when we're here on these devices, our energy and our breath and our volume follows how far we're looking.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as you can nourish your body with slightly deeper breaths, give us some pauses to digest what you're saying, and be aware of your whole room and my whole room so that it's less a foot and a half in front of the face and more like, well, there's like 14 feet there.
Mm-hmm.
And then inviting is underneath the words, inviting them to feel supported and watching and listening to their nonverbal half of the conversation as you talk. So for you, the you that loves listening, it's like bringing that into, let yourself have that thing that you love in moments while you're talking. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let's make some funky sounds together.
Okay.
We'll just do S's. They're a little less out there and crazy. So inhale through your mouth and exhale on an S a few times to get used to like take in air. And I see you have instruments behind you. I don't know if they're yours or what others you play. They're not yours. Okay. A couple more. Inhale through the mouth. Exhale on an S. And I lied. Now let's do one Z. So inhale and then do a Z sound. And imagine that the Z is sending support vibrations. Like you're supporting them with the sound and your energy, even without words. Zzz. Awesome. Now, take a nice breath like you're filling up your gas tank at the beginning of a road trip, and then don't worry about the breath after that. And play with intend, align, invite, and do your intro again.
Okay. Like same script and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm Berlyn, a digital marketing strategist and founder of Planted Marketing. I work with purpose-driven brands. Oh man, I totally forgot my script.
Because I threw you this breathing thing.
Uh-huh.
So feel free to let it be really slow, and to especially the like speak and then inhale to get the next bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ready. I'm Berlyn, a digital marketing strategist and founder of Planted Marketing. Planted Marketing is a full-service agency that specializes in community building and content marketing for purpose-driven brands. I also started a community called The Greenhouse, which helps solopreneurs who are DIYing their marketing and just need some support along the way. So if you've ever felt personally victimized by the advice you hear on the internet, this is a good place for you.
Awesome. How did that one feel different from your first one?
It will be really interesting to listen to the replay and hear, because maybe I feel more slowed down and like intentional about what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, like a lot of group networking calls, you're doing your like 30-second pitch and you have to hurry. And so I've really gotten trained to just be like, blah, 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 here's my spiel. And like not, and just as a listener, like I generally don't take up space. So I'm always just like, here's my stuff. Okay, next. And so I
Yeah.
need to remember to like, this is my time to talk and connect with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't like slow. I think you'll notice that when you hear it. It was like you're still a fast talker,
Mm-hmm.
not too fast or anything like that. It just wasn't, hi, I'm Laura. It did not go there. It had moments of silence where we could emotionally digest what you were saying. And it did, in that way, it starts to feel like, yes, you're the one in the spotlight, and it starts to become more for us, that you're
Mm-hmm.
guiding a journey for us, which you are courageously taking up space for. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's about you and not about you at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Will you play with that in a networking meeting?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And I would love to hear how it goes, even though the episode will be over by that point.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Awesome. So, because we have so many purpose driven, soulful speakers, small business entrepreneurs on these missions, what do you wish? Because I feel like some of the people that I've met don't do certain aspects of digital marketing because they're afraid of being seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they're afraid of being seen,
Mm-hmm.
or they're overwhelmed. What do you wish they knew? Like, what are the top 3 things you wish that our purpose driven people understood about digital marketing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, one is that people just know that people want to hear your story. So, consumers are really looking to be attracted to brands and like be connected and aligned with them. People aren't just willing to like make sales and just buy whatever these days. We really want to support people who are aligned with us. So if that is your business and like you have a solid mission, people want to know what that is and people will really feel called to it. So be proud of that and talk about it. If you aren't comfortable, I work with a lot of people who aren't comfortable. They don't want to be on video. They don't want to be involved, which is fine. But again, like making those connections, those face-to-face connections will like really impact your business. So especially in the early stages, being there and being the face of your brand will like take you to the next level much quicker. So to help that, like these sessions are really great. Working with a speaking coach is great. Or even just like slowly easing yourself into it, like kind of how I have been like slowly adding more speaking opportunities. You could always just start by like taking videos on your phone, so not too social, and just getting used to seeing yourself talk and like editing it and things like that. Then I recommend people move to stories on Instagram, very low pressure. They're gone in a few hours, 24 hours. So like just kind of easing into getting yourself out there like that. And then I also recommend if you're like, oh, I don't want my friend to see this or my parents or family, if you're feeling uncomfortable about like very specific people seeing your content, I recommend just blocking them. Like it doesn't have to be personal. It's just like this person or these group of people is like really holding me back. I don't know what it is about like just talking to strangers is so much easier than like, oh, my family's watching me. So like
Yeah.
that's kind of how I recommend people easing into it. And it's definitely worth it for sure. And it gets
Yeah.
easier. It's not as cringy after a while.
Yeah. Yeah. If the metaphor that's been coming to me lately is anytime we're doing something new, it can feel like we're lifting a 300-pound weight for the first time. And then after that, all of a sudden, the 300-pound weight doesn't feel like it's 300 pounds. It
Yeah.
feels eventually more like it's 25 or 50 or I don't know,
Yeah.
some number.
It really is like a muscle that you're working and growing. Yeah.
Yeah. I have another question because some of the people, there's like an ill logic in who I work with that's taken me years to figure out that this purpose driven,
Mm-hmm.
soulful, on a soul driven mission thing, some people are just stepping out and being visible because of that mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a whole other set of people who they've been out there, they've been speaking, they've been shooting the videos, and they're wanting to kind of take it up a notch to really be who they really are, um, to get emotionally naked or tap into, for me, it would be like my wild woman.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody's wanting to take it up a notch and like really be who they are and start sharing that with the world, what
Mm-hmm.
what words of wisdom do you have for them?
Mm. Yeah, that's a fun question. I was thinking about that after we chatted the other day. Like, what does that look like? And I think just one being like just taking time to think about it. So what does that look for me like for me? What does being wild look like? What is the next step? I'm looking at my vision board right now and I have people on my board that I know and that like they're Instagram creators. There are very few people that I'm influenced by, but I definitely have a couple. And like it's really just their lifestyle. So I put them on my board because I'm like, that's what I'm trying. Like I love that. That's what I would like to be like. So having these like clear goals of what that is and then just literally doing it, like just be uncomfy and be ready to like be uncomfy and put yourself in situations, but know that it's for like your greater vision and you'll never get anywhere doing the same things over and over or just being comfortable. I think we all know that. It's just like taking that first leap is very hard. But
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
And if people are listening to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to connect with her one on one and hear more directly about her, where can they find you?
Yeah. So plantedmarketing.com has all my things, but I'm also on every social platform. I don't know why I torture myself and be everywhere, but I am Planted Marketing on everything. So anywhere that like you live on social, feel free to message me. We can chat more about whatever felt aligned with you today.
Nice. Nice. I was going to say, isn't that one of those things they tell you not to do? Don't be everywhere. I would imagine it's a little different for you because you're a social media strategist, so your excuse or your reason might not be, oh, I feel like I have to be everywhere, which is what I did for a long time. Not even
Mhm.
everywhere, just the ones that I was on.
Mhm.
That it might be more like you want to have your finger on the pulse of how they all work so that you can help people.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be everywhere. That's definitely. I don't even think you have to be on social media. Like there's plenty of options.
Part of me wants to be like, I don't know. I've embraced it at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, good.
All right. Now it's time to slide into our Pivo pivot. What is your favorite word?
Oh, word. Well, my word of the year is visibility. I'll choose that.
What is your least favorite word?
One of those words like moist and or those kinds of things.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Mm. Something new. So like we taking this all the way back to the beginning. Like, what's my hobby for the week? So I'm always like testing out new things.
Nice. What turns you off?
Um, Not knowing how to do something personally and other people, but we all do it.
What's your favorite cuss word?
mm, uh, um, that's a good question too. I don't know.
That's the second one. What sound or noise do you love?
The coffee grinder, right?
What sound or noise do you hate?
Um, Anything nails scratching on anything.
What profession other than yours would be fun to try?
Event planning or travel planning.
And what profession would you not like to try?
Pretty much all of them that aren't mine.
And lastly, what do you hope people say about you on your 100th birthday?
Ooh. She is so cool and so youthful.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I find you cool, and I know you're youthful now, and you will be at heart when you're at 100. Thank you so much for coming and being on the show and sharing your story and your journey.
Yeah, thank you. This was so fun.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I am trying to remember to say more often, if you loved this episode, please comment back to us, share it with a friend, rate it, like it, and come back and hear the next one.